Oh boy, guys, come on. All right, Intergalactic Wrangler. Yeah, you got me. All right, guys, thanks a whole lot for being so patient with my new setup. Okay, today we're going to be trying something new. It's not contagious. Intergalactic Wrangler says he's having technical difficulties. Now I think he's pulling my legs and he's having a go at me. Now, today we're going to be jumping into a few things. I just wanted to be sure everything was working, so I needed to take a look at both channels to make sure everything was live. So I guess everything is working. Yeah, so that's why I started a few minutes earlier than usual. So I think we're on top of the hour. We're a minute early right now. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I can't cast to my TV, anything live, so watching on my PC. Oh, so sorry about that. Okay. Don't worry, it's not contagious. Maybe restart your PC and maybe something would shake loose. Okay, guys, so today we're just going to be jumping straight in. It's Friday, and it's usually the last day of the last stream day of the week, and we're back again on Sunday evening, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, you tried everything. Wow. Okay, well, I hope you figure it out. Sometimes tech just acts funny. You try everything, it doesn't work, and then suddenly you wake up the next day and everything is working. Okay, so let's jump right into it. It's 10 o'clock. Let us know where you're watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video. If you enjoy the interaction. This is all about the stories and the chat. Okay, you guys are the star of the show, so please make your voice heard. So let's jump right in.
Joe in New York. You're live with Stephen A. Straight shooter. What's up?
Yeah, Stephen, I'd like to congratulate you for being the latest black person to be called low IQ by President Trump. And it's a quite a long and distinguished list of people.
Joe, here, hold on. Joe, I'll let you go on, but hold.
Okay, there was more to that. Hey, Intergalactic Wrangler, stop sending the virus that's messing with your computer over to my studio. Okay, now there was more to that, so I'm just gonna skip this. Okay, it's your fault. Stop laughing. It's your fault. Stop messing with my computer. It's not. What's going on? Okay, I'm going to switch over now. Essentially, leftists always try to, make everything about Trump.
Think Donald Trump does anything to anybody who is anti-Trump.
Okay.
He don't give a damn what color, ethnicity, race, or group you're associated with. He could care less. If you are not pro-Trump, you are his enemy, and he treats you like it. That is what I believe. Go ahead.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
All right. Now, before I continue, I'm going to try something new tonight, okay? And the last time I tried it, okay, no one took me up on my offer. So I was talking with Tony today, and he said, hey, why don't you bring back the audience call-in feature? So I have the audience call-in feature active right now. And what I would like you to do is, at some point in the show, I think I've shared the link in the chat. So if you're watching, it should hit the chat stream in a few seconds. Now, it hit only the Crossroads Live channel. I'm going to do that again so that it hits everyone. So if you want to call in and just say something, make a statement, talk about the footage or something that you would like us to talk about, please be courteous. Just take a few minutes to, just give your thoughts on the subject matter. if you devolve into attacking anyone in the chat or the host, okay, that's going to be an automatic ban, and that's not good. Okay, we're just trying to have fun and have a conversation around the stories that we're covering. So Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith essentially shutting down this caller who tries to bait him into saying something that he should not be saying about President Trump, because whenever people simply begin to make everything they hear about Trump racist, so all about racism, it makes no sense, okay? Now, moving on to the next video, let's see, Abby Phillips. Abby Phillips essentially says here, why is Obama considered by a lot of conservatives, and maybe you're one of them, to be divisive? Okay, let's have a listen.
Why is Obama considered by a lot of conservatives, and maybe you're one of them, to be so incredibly divisive? Is it because he told people he was black?
Right.
No,
Come on.
No, I think he's incredibly classy. He's a very eloquent speaker. I think there's a lot of things to credit him for.
Lydia,
I'm
how
saying his
is he
policies,
Hold on.
you know, and I will credit him for this as well. He said that he thinks America is great today. I think he said the U.S. is an undeniable force for good in the world. And I was glad to hear him say that, because when he was in office, he would go on these sort of tours essentially apologizing for America. And I look at the Democratic Party today, 36% of whom are not proud.
Last year, Donald
Trump
Trump went to the Middle East.
So now they're trying to compare Trump's deal-making trips to the Middle East last year with Obama traveling to the Middle East to capitulate to the mullahs in Iran and in Afghanistan, essentially becoming subservient to the Islamic State. Okay, so they're trying to conflate that. Now, we all witnessed how he turned most of the conversations around law enforcement into race-related issues. And most of us essentially were able to recognize it, but CNN is still living under the haze that Obama is this, he's the Black Jesus. He's the savior of the Democrat Party, and we all know that he still runs the Democrat Party. Now, something happened during the opening of the Obama Center yesterday, and yeah, there are other things that happened. Like, while I was preparing the show, there was so much to cover, but I decided to leave out some of the details, like people who were part of the project who hadn't been paid, the fact that the endowment for building and running the center had essentially been drained already, okay? Like, the amount of corruption so far connected to that project is insane. And then Black people outside of the center protesting Obama and the mayor of Chicago. But all of that wasn't what I wanted to look into, okay? But because, and I've said it again and again, the fact that the Democrat Party continued to roll Joe Biden out like he's a prop, in spite of the fact that he's clearly impaired, he's clearly struggling, and they keep rolling him out. So here he is, okay, after Obama, Michelle, Joe Biden were on stage. Here's how they left things, okay? Obama, Joe Biden, and everyone else walk off the stage, and Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is. They walk off the stage, and Joe is just like he's literally, he doesn't know where he is.
Look at my granddaughter.
he stands there for a few minutes asking for his granddaughter. All right, now some people will say, well, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Okay, fine. But do you think it's right that with the struggles that he's going through with his health, that he's still being, well, fine, he can be rolled out, but I don't know. It just felt wrong. Is it just me? Okay, am I just seeing things? Am I just seeing things that I want to see simply because I didn't support his open border policies while he was president? Let me know in the chat. Gardening wants to remind us, okay? She wants to remind us, hello everyone watching or listening to the show tonight. Please take time to hit that like button and subscribe so you can come back. Also, feel free to comment. Thanks for joining us. Okay, now, I hope I have to keep an eye. Deplorable Virginian just followed. That is interesting. Okay, Deplorable Virginian, thank you for subscribing. Okay, hope you hang around. Hope you stay with us. Okay, we're going to continue to do our best to bring you news and commentary from a very conservative perspective, but we try to be fair. Now, during the speech yesterday, Obama made some statements. He made some statements and he said something about ICE and everything. But the contrast is that when you listen to what Obama said while he was in office, even before he got into office on the campaign trail, he sounds just like President Trump. Have a listen.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need.
Isn't that what Trump has been saying for the last 15 years? Is it 15 years or 10 years? 10 years. 10 years. Okay, my math. 10 years. He's been saying that for 10. Okay, let me see. My math, 2016 to 2026. It's 10 years. He's been saying the same thing. And they call him a racist. Well, here's what he said during his recent speech.
That's step number one. Step number two is to take on employers. Right now, an employer has more of a chance of getting hit by lightning than be prosecuted for hiring an undocumented worker. That has to change. They have to be held accountable. Start shedding some light on the problem, and we can once again be a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. That's what I intend to do as president of the United States.
So yesterday, Obama praised people for attempting to stop ICE from doing its job. I'm going to go full screen a little. I want to, we are looking at history play out right in front of us, guys. Okay, so people wonder why I have the position I have. Okay. Morning, Tony. The reason why I have the position I have is because I don't like people who lie or who try to pull a fast one on me. Okay. If you're going to piss on me, okay, at least do me the courtesy of not calling it rain. Right? If Obama had changed his mind on immigration, okay, while he's attacking Trump, okay, he should do us the courtesy of saying, okay, hey, I had this position years ago. I said this years ago, but this is why I've changed my mind. But they want us to believe that they've always had this position. Gardening says something that I didn't read. Sorry. Oops. I want to read that because I want to be fair. Okay. So Gardening says, Obama actually had a great idea. Okay? How about that? Look, the Democrats had great ideas. That was why it was okay for people to vote for them. Yes, they had the occasional fringe ideas about things like abortion and so on. Okay, but they had common sense views on things like national security, immigration, and we all supported that. At least we could live with that. Now, speaking of things that we can and cannot live with, okay, the Save America Act is something that has created a lot of tension, okay, and this panel or this group of people who showed up on Fox are discussing the Save America Act, and someone tries to say that it's racist because it blocks minorities from voting. Let's have a listen.
We all agree on that point. I just think that the reality is that an act like the SAVE Act is very likely more aimed at voter suppression and at keeping key demographics that the Republican Party does not want voting to not show out and vote. I think very often minority demographics.
All right, I'm gonna just behave myself. Okay, I'm not going to blame Intergalactic Wrangler for this. I'm not. I'm going to blame myself. Okay, because I was trying to be fancy. All right, I need to shut down one or two. Now hold on, I just want to be sure there's no one waiting in the... All right, now, if you're in the Discord lounge, okay, now this is experimental. All right, this is experimental. I shared the link to the Discord. If you're trying to call and can't connect, let me know so I can, test to see why you're not getting through, okay? So I just want to let you know that I'm watching the Discord as well. We have a call-in feature that we're trying to run. Hopefully, we're able to get that working. Okay, let's go back to this because it just stopped playing.
Act is very likely more aimed at voter suppression and at keeping key demographics that the Republican Party does not want voting to not show out and vote.
Nah, don't worry.
I think very often minority demographics.
That's not true.
No. So this is the thing where the suggestion is it's going to keep the black vote down. I've got two black panelists here. Ajwa?
That's not true.
Do you have ID and proof of citizenship?
Yeah, and if I need a copy of my birth certificate, it's just a matter of going online or going up to the department and asking for it and showing my information to get it. I mean, to say that it would negatively affect a minority group because they're somehow not educated enough to get these documents is completely outrageous.
Annie?
In my opinion, this should not be a controversial issue.
Yeah, so the Democrats are losing the argument on why they are trying to block the SAFE Act. And their reasons are dumb, they're stupid, they make no sense. And it's good to watch them get corrected on national TV. Now, let's watch this video because we have the likes of Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders, like many other Democrats, try to paint a picture that just isn't true. Bernie Sanders says Elon Musk spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. Jill Biden, oh, sorry, not Jill Biden, Kamala Harris spent over $1 billion, way more than President Trump spent on his campaign. And yet she failed. So according to the logic of the Democrats, the person who spends the most during an election cycle wins. Kamala Harris spent over $1 billion, and yet she lost. So that makes no sense, Bernie. But let's listen to him, okay? Because we're told that people with gray hair have wisdom. Well, let's listen to this wisdom.
How terrible Bernie Sanders is, and you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are today, is that Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon, but he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. I think that's absurd that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as well.
They spent $1.5 billion just over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So I'm not here just to say it's a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
Okay. So Musk spends that money, and what's his reward? He becomes the most powerful person in government for 3 or 4 months. Okay, fine. How terrible Bernie Sanders is,
right?
And you can buy that.
I'm sorry. Did you think that Elon was the most powerful person in government while he was working on the Doge project? Being blocked at every turn, okay? Having people tell you that you're unelected and you shouldn't have the power that the president appointed you to have. And then essentially being run out of Washington, D.C. because the deep state forced him out. That was what happened, essentially. He was doing such a good job that they began to burn his Tesla locations. Then he had to step back. And some people think that that Elon stepped back from Doge because President Trump felt like it would be best for him so that his businesses could be protected. I'm not sure, but people think that. Now let's see. The comments. Tony says, "Shut up, Bernie, you D-head." Okay, Intergalactic Wrangler says weekend at Bernie's, and Gardner says these people are ridiculous. They lie and deceive so easily. That's the thing that chafes at me. And look, if we're going to have honest conversations, let's have honest conversations. But most of the time, the Democrats can only run on lies, and so they make up these lies like we're going to watch in a few seconds. Tony says he's one of the elders, so you think he knows, but he doesn't. Now, question: can we trust that? We can't. If someone, look, I will always go back to this, and Democrats can push back as much as they want, but the question is, can you trust a party to run the most powerful nation in the world that believes that boys can decide that they're girls tomorrow and everyone has to agree? That believes that boys should be using girls' washrooms or bathrooms. Okay, that believe that believe in open borders. So, okay, let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler says he was the most powerful enemy of the scammers, and they forced him back. They did. Like Elon was doing such a good job, but the damage was done. The damage was done because he exposed all of the things that people didn't even know needed to be exposed, like with the USAID. People like me were so we thought USAID was US aid. It was like, oh, they're aiding the world, until we began to see the insane things that they were doing. And it was just crazy. Now, speaking of the deranged lies that the left likes to pander, okay, this person essentially claims that Trump called Democrats evil monsters who should be killed, and she got checked immediately. Let's have a listen.
It's like, I am called a domestic terrorist constantly by my government. My president just stood at the State of the Union and said the Democrats are evil monsters who should be killed. If that person...
No, the president did not say that. Wait a minute.
Okay,
no, you have to be accurate.
He said, I will be accurate. Okay, Tim.
Now, she knows she lied.
Tim, I'm sorry. That's
Tim, I will be accurate.
Yeah, the president never called for anyone to be killed.
Okay.
I just want you to be honest. I like you way too much. Let me be that wrong.
Let me give her... Okay, Tim,
my point
let's give her
is,
an opportunity to correct what she said.
The American government is
But
already.
he didn't.
He
say
did not
that
say. He said we were the enemy and we were terrible. Would you say that that is fair?
I think he did say he looked at the Democrats and said these people are crazy. But Lee,
he said
I like
they
it.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Can I finish my point?
I like you far too much to let you be that
he's
wrong.
right.
You cannot say the President of the United States called for members
Correct.
of
I
Congress
was
to be
being
killed.
hyperbolic, and I apologize.
Well, you have to be accurate.
Well,
go ahead.
No.
We have to.
Okay.
To go.
Now this is the problem with Democrats. When they're caught lying, they slide into, I was being hyperbolic. Now, do you believe that she was being hyperbolic? That's my question to you. Because we've watched them over and again on shows on CNN, TDSBC, ABC, and they say these things routinely without any pushback. Are they being hyperbolic when they do that on those shows? The first video we watched on with Stephen A. Smith correcting the caller that called in, on a regular left-leaning show, maybe Charlemagne, the God's breakfast show, they would hardly push back on the caller. They would let him say everything, and then they would ride the wave of the statement that was made. So they keep pushing these things out, and most Americans, people all from all over the world who happen to listen to these shows, believe that these people know what they're talking about, that President Trump actually said what they claim he said. They don't have the time to sit and listen to hours and hours of footage, hours and hours of Trump's speeches. And to be honest, if you're not American, I don't expect you to sit and listen to hours of Trump making speeches, riffing, clowning the Democrats while he's trying to give a simple speech. A lot of people aren't patient enough for that. So they depend on talking heads like her to tell them the truth. And then she does this, and most of the time, they don't push back. And so everyone believes that they're telling the truth. Let's see. Gardening says, I wish they would allow everyone to speak. All of this talking over each other just wastes time and no one can hear. Maybe that is the point. To start with, okay, there's several things that's going on with mainstream media. In case you've not noticed, okay, let me just tell you what's going on. One, there's an attention economy, okay? So people don't listen to boring shows. So what cable TV or the mainstream media has done since Trump is to create an economy of outrage. The more outrageous your show is, the more extreme it is, the more views you get. And it's happening on both sides, guys. It's happening on both sides. On the left, it is how extreme can you go with the Trump hate? On the right, it is how extreme can you go with the pro-Trump, pro-MAGA push. I try to stay in the middle because let's be common sense. Let's look at things and let's just tell the truth. Because either extreme is a problem. Okay, either extreme is a problem. If the administration does something that isn't helpful, we should be able to stand back and say, well, that doesn't seem to be good for the country. But if we go along with the extreme yes man approach to supporting the administration, it's like we're no better than the extremists on the left who lie about stuff and attack you whenever you call them out on their lies. Yeah, so that's the thing. The the outrage economy is on full display. You see it here. You see it on Piers Morgan, Uncensored. You see it on TDSBC. Yes, the set is quieter because no one is pushing back. You just have a group of people who agree, talking and just piling on, and it's crazy to watch, but it is what it is. All right, so let's move on to the next footage. Let's see. Now, this is a response, I think, to the speech that was had during the opening of Obama's center. Let's have a listen.
Is that is a contrast with the guy in the White House right now.
You know, the words we didn't hear from these remarks today: sucker, loser, piggy, stupid, fake news.
So he's pushing the suckers and losers hoax. He's doing it knowing fully well that hoax was debunked, but they keep repeating it.
The words we didn't hear from these remarks today: sucker, loser, piggy, stupid, fake news, idiot. It's a permission structure when a president uses those terms for our children to hear it and our children to want to use those terms as well. It's modeling the worst of rhetoric and the worst of behavior. President Obama, First Lady Obama, didn't invoke the name calling that has gotten in a cancerous way into our political bloodstream and makes us not want to expose our children to the highest people in power.
And Mark, I heard.
Guys, you know what amuses me is that when they speak like this, they want the listener to believe that every time President Trump is behind the microphone, he's insulting everyone in sight, which is not true. He gets confrontational whenever there's a journalist there who is essentially being stupid. And then he lashes out and says, hey, stop trying to use this platform to get a sound bite to deceive the American people. And then he lashes out. Okay. And they don't like it. They want President Trump to be as docile as John McCain. Okay. John McCain was being polite and he lost the election. He was being polite. He was trying to be nice. He was trying to be he was trying to win in a gentlemanly way, and he got totally destroyed during the presidential race. All right. Now, what has all of this got to do with anything? It's because when you listen to all this rhetoric, okay, and you listen to the way the mainstream media continues to present the administration and President Trump, you create individuals like this person that's being reported right now. Just in, a man reportedly has been arrested for cutting President Trump's new American flag blue sealant and ripping it off the Lincoln reflecting pool. Remember, we covered the reflecting pool. I think that was that yesterday or the day before? I forget. Yesterday was a blur because of the technical issues that we were having. We talked about the algae situation. We talked about how people felt that it was sabotage. And now we're hearing that, okay, there's actually someone who actually sabotaged the pool.
A man jumped in the reflecting pool today with all these crowds around, cut out a huge piece of the blue sealant and tried to get away, but he was arrested.
Okay, so basically, I'm not going to play the music. I've been having a time with YouTube. So you have Americans who believe that they need to resist Trump, and they go out there committing crimes, and they think that they're on the right side of history. Okay, so you let me know, does that make sense? All right. Does it make sense that rational people who engaged in an election process, they voted, the person they voted for lost, and then they decide that for 4 years, they're going to lose their minds, commit crimes, and pretend like they're on the right side of history? Now, this is where we're into the second year of the Trump second term, and it's not letting up. We're going to see more of this insanity. We're going to see people who will do their absolute best to destroy America simply because they want to spit in Donald Trump's eye, not knowing that long after Trump is gone, they're the ones who get to live in America. Their children get to live in America, and Trump will be retired and minding his business elsewhere. So what do you think the mainstream media will have after Trump is retired? Because I'm wondering, this is all they've got. Okay? This is all they've got. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Now, there was a major report that dropped, I think today. DNI Tulsi Gabbard, we know that she's resigned because her husband has was diagnosed with cancer and she needs to be home with him to take care of him. So she's resigned. But her parting gift to the American people is that she is releasing never before seen communications and documents exposing how Dr. Fauci provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. You know, the Wuhan lab that they told, that President Trump said that the virus came from, and then the mainstream media attacked him and said that he was racist for saying that the virus came from China. He called it a China virus, said he was being racist. The virus that any one of us back then who talked about it got our social media profiles blocked. If you had a YouTube channel, if you mentioned it, your channel was taken away from you or demonetized. Remember that that episode in history that we all had to live through? Well, here she is talking about her parting gift to all of us.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund.
I can't help it. I just sabotaged myself. Intergalactic Wrangler, that wasn't you. I'm just going to refresh the page and start again. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to be fancy, but you know the page just died on me. Sorry. Okay, I'm trying to refresh the screen. Sorry, guys. Oh, sorry about that. So sorry about that. Keep forgetting to take that down. Sorry, the thing just froze, so I'm trying to get it working. Let's see. Okay, just give me a second. Wondering why this happened. Okay, we're back.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 When under oath, he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume 3 key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear.
Oh, boy.
Go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
Okay. That's a lot. So, on her, this is her final day, and she drops this bomb that was yesterday. Let's see. So I'm going to read the chat because the chat was really instructive. Okay. Intergalactic Wrangler says, "I'm glad I didn't get poked," and says, "God bless her." Now I posted the link to this report. If you don't have it, I posted it in the chat so you can have it and take a look at it for yourself. Gardening says, "I hope his auto pen pardon gets undone." that's going to be a quagmire. I'm not sure if they will be able to make that happen. Excuse me. Intergalactic Wrangler says it will be a difficulty with that pen pardon because it sets a precedent that people may not want to tamper with. Gardening says that really stinks. Does that mean Trump can pardon every person, friend, family member, etc., for 10 years for anything they may have done or will do? Yes, that's the prerogative of the president. But past presidents understood that the optics of doing that were going to be bad for their legacy. And that the fact that Biden did this essentially signaled to a lot of people that Joe Biden may not have been the one running things. Because if he really was concerned about his legacy, he would not have done some of the things he did while he was going out the door. Let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I wonder who else had emails. Well, I hope we're able to find out soon. I do. Now, we all remember that while all of this was going on during the pandemic era, that the mainstream media did their level best, okay? They had Barack Obama, the Black Jesus, and then they had Anthony Fauci, okay? He was the next best thing to Obama because they covered for him, they protected him, they platformed him like no man's business. Like here is CNN doing that in December of 2020.
You are seen to many as a superhero, but you are a human being, and you've been working nonstop since all of this began, communicating with the public, trying to get a handle on this pandemic in terms of the science. So how do you keep yourself going in the face of all of this death and disease
that he caused?
You know, Dana, it's really just focusing on the enormity of the problem and the fact that I do have a role in the response to this problem. And whenever that happens, you've got to focus like a laser beam on what the goal is to end this terrible outbreak that we're going through. And I don't really, you don't have time for feeling sorry for yourself that you're tired or that you feel like you just got to suck it up, as it were. I use that because that's what it feels like sometimes. Mm-hmm. But that's what you do. You got to realize that here we are in this country and in this world with so many people who are suffering and dying from.
Now, people were suffering and dying, and Anthony Fauci was instrumental to that from what we're hearing, because he funded the research that produced the weaponized strain that got leaked that infected the world. So what we just saw during the pandemic was the arsonist was hired to put out the fire. That's essentially what we're finding out. But let's see what the report eventually triggers. Because yes, DNI or former DNI Tulsi Gabbard has done her job. And you know what? After seeing how all the work she did on the Russia hoax, she released documents and her findings on that. What have we seen so far? She's released this. Let's see what happens. Okay. The last couple of days I've been not very optimistic in my conclusions with some of the things that we've talked about. But let's see what happens. Because powerful people like Fauci might not get the justice that they deserve. Gardening says, I guess I'm wondering because the Democrats say they will 100% arrest all the ICE agents, military and other government people, and especially his friends and family members. No, look, here's what's going to happen. Trump is 100%, 1,000% going to pardon everyone up the wazoo. And the Democrats are going to scream and mew, and you know what? We don't care. Because the Biden administration set the precedent that we just shouldn't care. So that's what's going to happen. And like, I'm predicting it. I'm expecting it to happen. I will be disappointed if it doesn't happen, because we've seen what the Democrats are capable of. Okay? We've seen what they're capable of. And I think President Trump learned from the last experience he had with his family and his businesses and everything getting attacked. They wanted to bankrupt him. They wanted him to go to jail and die in prison. They went as far as they could. But of course, because their cases were built on lies, everything fell apart eventually. And their attacks on him won him the presidency. So I think it all worked out for President Trump, but I don't think he's going to make the same mistake. The left is still trying to instill fear. The left keeps campaigning on fear, and that's all they've got. We can't let the left get in power again. And guys, here's the secret. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm doing this at the risk of getting very popular for doing this, and for possibly not being allowed into the US if a Democrat is in office. I know full well that talking about these things and doing things like encouraging you to vote and to keep these people out of office. Right now, I'm a small channel. I'm a tiny channel. I'm not in their eyes. I'm not even on their radar until it becomes a huge channel. And then, yeah, guys, we're going to have that conversation. Because now, knowing all of that, I'm willing to do this because we know what they've been able to do with the little power they had with the Joe Biden situation. I call it a situation, not a presidency, because that was not a presidency. Joe Biden wasn't there. We just watched him a few moments back. He wasn't the guy running things. He was just a figurehead. Okay. So let's see what happens with this report and see if justice is served. Now, I hate to do this to you guys, but we're going to talk about this issue of random migrants or immigrants or... Look, I don't know this guy's story, but this report says another Muslim assaults a teenager in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee is supposed to be a conservative Republican city. At least that's my understanding. I do know that it's the entertainment capital, okay, where music and, great studios live. But why are we hearing about this in Nashville? Okay, but the mainstream media says nothing to see here, folks. Move along. Okay, so let's listen to this report.
Breaking news alert. Authorities just arrested a man accused of raping a girl at her apartment in South Nashville. Alicia Wimberly is at the WKRN.com alert desk with more. Alicia.
That's right, Tori. Police arrested Mena Awad this afternoon at a hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. Awad is accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl on...
So he did it in Tennessee and then fled the state and went to Kentucky.
New Year's Eve while she slept in her Millwood Drive apartment. Police say he entered the victim's unlocked apartment with a gun and a knife. Louisville police arrested him this afternoon after receiving information from Metro Police about his whereabouts. Awad will soon be returned to Nashville to face charges.
All right, guys, so let me know what you think about this story. I moved to, now, when I lived in Nigeria, and I'm talking about security now, when I lived in Nigeria, I would work late into the night because I usually would work from home like I do now. And late at night at 2 a.m, before going to bed, I would walk around the house to make sure that all the doors were locked, because it was very unsafe to not make sure your house was locked. And we had bars, we had all of that. And I would still go out there and make sure everything was locked. Okay. And we moved to Canada, and we had a host, and we're still friends till this day. We had a host who allowed us to stay in their house, and they were about to leave for summer. Okay, I think it was a year around this time. Because we arrived 4 years ago around this time, Monday, this time 4 years ago we arrived, and then they were going on a summer trip, and they said, okay, they were going to leave us the house, and I said to them, okay, so where are the keys? And they looked at me funny, like, I don't know where the keys are. I'm like, how do you lock the house? They say we don't. And I was like, what? You don't lock the house? So I can understand this teenager going to bed without locking her house. I can understand all of that. And most of you who are watching me, you understand that. As an immigrant, I didn't, and I still struggle with it. Before I go to bed, even now, like right now, I'm live streaming with you guys. Before I go to bed, usually I go to bed between the hours of 2 in the morning and 3. I do the rounds. It's inside of me. I'm paranoid, okay, because of where I grew up and where I lived. I walk around to make sure that the doors are locked. I make sure everything is locked before I go anywhere, before I go to bed. So hearing this, it's a violation of your culture. You have a culture of safety. You have a culture of trust. You have a culture that says, I don't need to lock my door because I believe my neighbors aren't going to break in and hurt me. And then this random guy does this to this 16-year-old girl. Jeez. Intergalactic Wrangler says, it's far too normalized. It's so sad. Gardening says that poor young lady should have never happened. Shame on those who are too busy yelling Epstein while they allow this to keep happening to American citizens. Gardening also says they don't care about any victims. They only seem to want to tie them to Trump. Forget any illegal who is abusing children. Intergalactic Wrangler says blind hatred. I hate stories like this. I hate stories like this. Anyway. Jeez. Here we go. Let's take a step back into the past because, guys, why is this happening? It's happening. Laurel McManus says, I live in Nashville and hadn't heard of this attack. It is because the mainstream media is suppressing it, Laurel. The mainstream media is suppressing it. And thank you, Laurel, first-time chatter. I've never seen you in the chat. Thank you for chatting, and I hope you're subscribed and you stick around. Look, I don't like saying I hate the mainstream media. Okay, I see posts on social media that says you don't hate the mainstream media enough or the media enough. But when I see stories like this, it infuriates me. All right, now here's a CNN report in 2012. Laurel, thank you for the compliment. I believe that my first time here and you're great. Thank you so much, Laurel. Here's a CNN report from 2012. Now, CNN interviews. Guys, I see these things in my feed. I can't believe I'm reading, but there's video evidence that it happened. CNN interviews a woman whose daughter was repeatedly sexually aided. I have to be careful. So when I use that, I'm trying to stop YouTube from blocking this channel. by a grooming gang. Even back then in 2012, the mother and CNN both felt the need to say that it's important to not be racist about it or to stereotype. Let's have a listen, guys.
When her 12-year-old daughter went from pink hair clips to flashy gold earrings and tracksuits, Diane says she thought it was just part of being a teenager. She had started hanging out with the wrong group of girls, occasionally skipping class, but Diane...
I touched it again. I was okay. I'm gonna stop trying to be fancy. I'm gonna stop. Okay, because I want this to kind of work out. I want it to be nice for you guys, and I keep touching things because I wanted to raise the video a little. Okay, I'm gonna have to refresh this or do something. Gosh, I'm gonna spend the weekend figuring out how to optimize the computer. And I just bought this computer a few weeks ago. Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to upgrade this really soon because it seems like this isn't powerful enough. All right. I'm good. Jeez. Guys, I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. All right. It's back. I'm going to figure out why this is happening. You have to start again or start over. Let's see.
Went from pink hair clips to flashy gold earrings and tracksuits. Diane says she thought it was just part of being a teenager. She had started hanging out with the wrong group of girls, occasionally skipping class, but Diane didn't realize that her daughter was being targeted by a gang of men until police showed up at her door one night because one of her school friends had gone missing. Diane, not her real name, agreed to talk to CNN on the condition we do not reveal her face or voice.
The police gave her a good talking to and explained exactly what a groomer was, that they would start off by giving them drink and cigarettes, lifts in cars and things, and then possibly going to giving them gifts, phone cards.
Okay, first off, guys, can you hear what she's saying and can you read the subtitles? And then second of all, Chrissy, good to see you in the chat. I was so sad that we lost you yesterday when the technical issues started. So I'm glad to see you in the chat. Great to see you. And Chrissy, Gardening wants to ask you something. Gardening, we've been waiting for her to get in the chat. You guys need to start talking now before before you forget. Okay, so let me know if you can read the subtitles on the video, or if you can hear or if you can hear the what the person is saying. Okay, so let me know in the chat. Laurel, we're glad to have you. We're building a community, and we hope you stick around.
Things like that. Obviously, these were that they would start off by giving them drink and cigarettes, lifts in cars and things, and then possibly going to giving them gifts, phone cards, things like that. Obviously, these were men, and my daughter was 13. It was just horrific to hear something like that. And seeing your daughter stood there in pink girly pyjamas and what have you, tears rolling down her face. But then I just thought that was that, then that would be the end of it. It was just the beginning.
A new report by Britain's Children's Commissioner says as many as 45 children a day are targeted by so-called grooming gangs in Britain. Diane's daughter is just one example. Men would pick her up from school, then dump her outside the family home, incoherent from a mix of drugs and alcohol, with stories of being passed around from man to man. She was 14 years old. But her attempts to get help from police and social workers were ignored, she says.
Support and, what are these, men, where can we locate them? I used to keep diaries with number plates, with names. Places where a nun should be.
Did you give this information to police? And what happened then?
Nothing. They just said, we'll keep a log of it and just keep keeping your diaries. And that's all we used to get. And then when she got to the age of 15, because it was on and off with my daughter, they just used to say to me, don't worry, when she gets to 16, they won't want her.
The gang that targeted Diane's daughter were mostly Asian men. Police data shows that nearly a third of reported grooming gangs are ethnically Asian, a disproportionate number considering that only 7% of Britain is Asian. But the vast majority of offenders are white British males. Diane feels there is a danger in focusing on only one ethnic profile.
With my daughter, it was literally motivated because of the names he used to call her. He used to call her white trash and things like that. But I've heard of, white people and other communities. It's not just one race.
It only came to an end because her daughter became pregnant.
One day she went out and they took her to another town. One of the guys kicked her in the stomach, found out she was pregnant. That was the last time she ever went out. She stayed in from that day. She said, that's it, I'm not going. They're not harming the baby.
Her daughter had her baby and both now live at home with Diane. But she says the men who abused her daughter are still out there, and she fears still grooming other young girls. Atika Schubert, CNN, London.
This is possibly the most, well, we watched the report from the last couple of days on the grooming gang situation. So Chrissy, the link to the Discord server is in the chat. I just posted it. I'll talk about the Discord server later for anyone else who's interested in joining the community and let you know what we're working on the Discord. Watching this breaks my heart. I have a daughter, and listening to the reports coming out of Europe where these animals do this to even 4-year-olds. It is, anywho, like, I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. Like, I've been down that rabbit hole. Let me read the chat. I want to read the chat. Like, it's... Now, CNN did this report in 2012. When Elon started talking about the grooming gang situation, and I didn't bring up the video, CNN attacked Elon Musk because they don't like his politics. CNN did this report in 2012. Elon posted about the same thing that CNN reported on in 2012. And they called him a racist. They said that he was rabble rousing. He was spreading misinformation. CNN had the same report in 2012. Guys, like, this is sick. Like, I'm sick to my stomach. I struggle to compute how evil these media companies can be. Let's see. The Intergalactic Wrangler says it's been going on a long time. They even tried to silence Mel Gibson. I think it's all related or connected. Guys, it's all related. It's all related. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. You don't overlook these kinds of heinous crimes if there isn't an agenda. Don't touch that button. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, when I moved something and it messed up the video. Guys, I'm working on making sure that you guys have a great experience whenever we go live. So I'm working hard. I'm trying to make sure that everything is perfect for you, just for you. Okay? And that's why I shut the windows and I'm sweating right now. I shut the doors and I'm just trying to make sure that the sound is perfect. So I'm putting everything together just to make sure you guys have a great time. All right, so let me read everything about this story first, then I'll talk about the Discord server before we look at one more thing. Let's see. Now, gardening is talking with Chrissy about the Discord server, but let me talk to you about the Discord server. We set up a Discord server a couple of days ago when we were on the members only live stream. We were looking at the report, from this group, the grooming gang report from the UK that essentially stated that over the last 50 years, 250,000 girls had been groomed. I want to use that word just because of YouTube. And some were as young as 4 years old. We talked about it, and then I said to those who were within the members only live stream that I have concerns because the previous live stream we had been copyright blocked. This week alone, we've had, I think, 2 live streams copyright blocked. Now, I have to be very careful with the videos that I play. So these days, I avoid videos that prevent us from, having reach, because if they get blocked, the videos get suppressed. So I'm being very careful, but sometimes, even with all the care, yesterday's live stream also got copyright blocked. So part of what I'm trying to do is to have us keep the community together by having the Discord channel going, the Discord server. What we're going to be doing on the Discord server is connections. Okay, you guys are going to connect with each other. Now, the Discord server is essentially protecting your identity. Your email address isn't shown. Your phone numbers aren't shown. All communication goes through the Discord server. You get to connect with each other, okay? Gardening and Chrissy have been hitting it off on gardening and talking and everything. And she mentioned something, and I said, okay, you and Chrissy need to connect. And that's where we basically said, okay, let's start using the Discord server. Now, I'm inviting everyone to be on the Discord because when you see what happened during the Biden years with censorship, let's not think that the Republicans are going to be in office forever. Power flows in cycles. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Power flows in cycles. One season you have the Republicans in office, another season you have the Democrats in office, because that's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. Okay, now, does it mean that if the Republicans, conservatives like you and me, double down and activate our communities and make sure that every election we're out there voting our hearts out, that it delays the next cycle of Democrat rule? It will. But we're hedging our bets to say, just in case there isn't a Republican in the White House, or just in case we don't have a rhino in the White House who allows for censorship, let's have the community carry on the Discord server. So if anything goes sideways and the channel gets taken away or taken down or something, or I can't stream, because if the channel gets a copyright strike, it means I won't be able to stream for a while. So that's the reason for the Discord server. I hope those of you who are listening and watching and are subscribed and love the content would consider joining the Discord server. Gardening and I are talking about other things we could put into the Discord server that could make it more valuable. Another thing that, because I talk to you guys, for those of you who want to connect with me, I talk to you regularly. Tony and I talked this morning, and we were talking about the memberships. I have a few things that I put together for the memberships, but I talked with Tony and asked him a few questions of what he would suggest that we add to the membership stack. And I agreed with him. He said we should have a members day. Every week we have one members day. I'm thinking about when maybe if we have enough people on the Discord server, we could set up a poll to decide what day Members Day would be. Now, what would Members Day look like? Members Day would be a day when one member would be selected or elected, depends, selected either, based on a system that we could figure out, or elected by the rest of the members to feature during the Members Day. They are going to be the ones to suggest a handful of stories that matter to them that we can cover during the live stream. They can feature prominently during the live stream, all through the live stream, either within the chat, or if they choose to be a voice in the call-in, basically be on a call all through the live stream, to be on a panel. They can be part of the conversation where we go through the stories, and then they give their thoughts and commentary and questions and everything. So we're working on adding that as well to add more value to, look, I want to provide as much value as I can to you guys, okay? You guys invest your time when you log in every day at 9 p.m. Eastern to join this live stream. It matters to me that you're not wasting your time. It matters to me that I give you my very, very best. It matters to me that when you post a chat, you're not wasting your time. I am reading the chat and I'm responding to you. I value your time. And every suggestion that I can get that makes simply being a part of this channel meaningful to you, I will execute on. So that's what we're working on. And I'm putting it out there so that you guys hold me accountable. I know Tony is here, and he knows that I'm big on paying attention to suggestions like that. So once we have a healthy crowd in the Discord server, then maybe we can begin to throw around some ideas on the date. But tentatively, we could be looking at something like a Tuesday, okay? Maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But I'm going to just, give it a couple of days, watch the Discord server, see if we can have a consensus, and then push it forward. But that's what I'm looking at, to give you guys more value for your time and for the love that you guys continue to give to the channel. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't ramble while I was introducing the Discord server. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Let's see. So Intergalactic Wrangler, talking about the last video, says, hopefully something will be done now. I don't think so. The Democrat Party and the left, the globalist left, are locked in. They are locked in. They've pushed open borders. They've run on open borders. They've run on attacking anyone that says otherwise. And they've gathered to themselves extremists. The Democrat Party and the leftists globally are now the party of terrorists, sexual deviants, and illegal aliens. That's who they are now. And anyone who goes outside of the thing that they want gets the power of that voting bloc turned against them. They can't go against that voting bloc. They are terrified of that voting bloc. They are locked in. Nothing will be done. The only people who have the equipment and have the means to do anything about it are the conservatives, the Republicans. Let's call them the MAGA Republicans. They hate that word, but we're going to use it. The MAGA Republicans are the ones who have what it takes to change things. So, no Intergalactic Wrangler. I don't think anything will be done from those guys. Okay. Let's keep going. I keep running into, look, I love it when you guys talk amongst yourselves. So when I smile, that's why. Let's see. Okay, good. Laurel says, was that a cover-up for Muslim men grooming even back in 2012? Because we know they are mostly doing it in recent years. Laurel, the report that we got from the UK tells us that they've been doing it for 50 years, at least 50 years. So this stretches all the way back to the early 70s. It is insane that I'm saying that, but it has been happening for that long. And the police has been complicit. Leadership and politicians have been complicit. It is gut-wrenching to go through that story. There's a 219-page report that was released 2 days ago. Some people that we follow have spent hours, have done live streams reading through the report to their audience. As Asmond Gold spent about, 8 hours reading through that report yesterday. It is insane, the details you hear, the gory details. I don't even have the confidence to repeat some of the things that I've heard from that report, because as a small channel, if YouTube decides to fart in my direction, nobody cares. You guys would care, okay? You guys would care, but what I mean is that I don't have a large enough audience to raise a stink. So I'm just going to play nice. But it's insane what I've heard from that report. So yes, Laurel, it's been a cover-up. And you see the report from CNN, even in 2012, refused to identify them as Afghani Muslims. Not Afghani, Pakistani Muslims. Because those are the Asians they are referring to. They say Asians, and so in your mind, you're thinking Japanese. The media. Let's see. Okay, just making sure I'm reading relevant posts. Gardening says, are we going to do mail-in ballots for that? Okay, no. This isn't California. Okay. Okay, but a suggestion, or I can just volunteer the guys. Yes. I would love for you to volunteer the guys. Okay, throw some people under the bus. Now, the members only day, like, I respect the fact that not everyone is comfortable being live or being heard, like using your voice or even showing your face. I recognize it and I respect it. And that's why I said that we're willing to just say, hey, let's assume gardening, okay? I'm going to throw you under the bus. Let's say the next members day is going to be courtesy of gardening. Gardening is the member of the day, and gardening is responsible for bringing stories that matter to her. So that day we're going to say, here are the stories that gardening has brought in, and then we're going to go through the stories, play the videos, read the articles, talk about them. And then if gardening doesn't want to call in or be, on the video call, we're just going to read her chats. Her chats are going to be like highlighted, like when she responds or comments, we're going to just say, okay, this is the person of the day. Okay, so that's basically the picture. We're going to refine it. There's going to be rough edges, like my technology has rough edges, but we're going to just keep going until we perfect it. So that's just the idea. I want to say thank you to the members, okay? Those of you who received free memberships when we gifted memberships earlier, thank you. For those of you who paid for your memberships, okay, thank you so much for trusting me with your money, with your treasure. Thank you for donating to the channel. You guys know that it's been a journey for 11 months. This has been my full-time gig. It hasn't been profitable in the least, but I've enjoyed the fact that I get to do this and hang out with you special people. And through the magic of technology, we're able to speak with each other, get to know each other, and then we can pull back the curtain on the decades of deception that the media and leftist politicians and globalists have been feeding us for so long. Like just pick one rabbit hole. Is it the grooming gangs situation? Is it the vaccine propaganda that we've been fed? Is it elections? Like, just pick a rabbit hole, and you'll find that there have been lies that we've been told, and we get to sit and talk about them and figure out what to do about this so that we're not deceived anymore. So we get to do this together, and you guys have been a joy, and I love to hang out with you guys. You guys know it, okay? I love doing this, and I just want you guys to know that I'm grateful, and I'm going to continue to create new ways of serving you and being a blessing to you as much as I can. Chrissy, welcome back. Always great to have you back. All right, so do we have another story in us where we are 27 minutes over the hour? All right, I have one more story in me, okay? But it's a video by Nate Friedman. Nate Friedman is a man on the street journalist, and he does great content. And he says that he exposed the Islamic takeover of Birmingham, and it's much more insane than you can imagine. Now, this is the kind of work that CNN, TDSBC, ABC, and the rest of them used to do when they were real journalists. Now they're just actors. And let's watch this video. And guys, let me know what you think about this video, because we just, heard 2012, CNN knew about the grooming gangs. We know that for 50 years, the grooming gangs have been operating, and over 250,000 white, because they do this to white girls. White British girls had been, I can't even say, okay, have been assaulted for 50 years. Now he's uncovering this community in Birmingham. Let me know your thoughts in the chat.
It feels as though Islam is taking over the West. Would you agree?
Yeah, they are. Inshallah, soon. Inshallah, soon. Yeah. All world will become Muslim. Yeah.
Yes. Take a look at this. These are two maps. I'm not going to tell you which one is Kabul and which one is Birmingham. I was reading how, like, in the 60s, there were only 1 or 2 mosques in Birmingham, and now there's over 200. I want to understand how that happened. Allah Akbar. Hi, I'm from America, and I'm a journalist, and I'm looking to learn about Islam in the UK. Could I speak to somebody here? Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. And with the rise of Islam in Birmingham and all around the UK, would you like to see Sharia law be implemented in the UK?
Well, that's what we want, if they can do more what the Muslim laws are.
Yes.
So it's going to be good for Muslim people, and it's also for the all human beings, all the human peoples.
Yes. How can you implement Sharia law in the UK? What is the procedure that needs to be done?
This is my own opinion, because as the
but
people,
I'm saying, how can you do it?
That's what I'm saying, because as we got new councillor in the council, so same thing, if we get more MPs and all these peoples, they're gonna raise their voice in the assembly or in the parliament, that what is the Muslim needs, or what is the Muslim law, or what they need it. So in that way they can try to adjust, they're going to put something in the influence on the government, and the government can then put that things on.
So I'm trying to become a scholar of Islam, actually.
Okay.
So he's basically revealed to us the plan. This is, I don't want to sound like Alex Jones, but tell me what you see when someone who has moved into your country, refused to assimilate, dresses in the way he used to dress in the country he came from, doesn't entirely embrace your language or your culture, actively says to you, to your face, that he hopes that eventually they will overwrite your laws, the laws that made your country great, the laws that made your economy strong, the laws that raised the breed of people that essentially transformed the landscape of your country to become a superpower in the world, to overwrite it with the laws that they ran in the shithole countries they came from, that destroyed or kept those shithole countries backwards. They want to overwrite your advanced laws with those laws because they think that those laws that created their shithole countries are better than your laws. And they're saying it to your face. And they're telling you how they're going to do it. He says they're going to essentially use the government. They're going to grow their population. They're going to essentially begin to push for more considerations through the mechanisms of your government. Ilhan Omar, anyone? Rashida Tlaib, anyone? Being sworn into Congress with the Quran, anyone? We saw Zoran Mamdani being sworn in as mayor of New York with the Quran just this past January. I'm an immigrant and I can say this, okay? It's a hot mess and it has to be rolled back. It has to be rolled back. All the Muslim and Islamic apologists are going to fume and froth at the mouth. I don't care, and you guys shouldn't care either. America is founded on Christian principles. For hundreds of years, public servants have been sworn in using the Bible. It should not change. They don't change it for us in Saudi Arabia. They don't change it in Oman or in all the other Muslim countries. Why must the West change? Because the West is hospitable. I'm getting upset while I'm saying this because I don't see why these changes have been allowed. It's behavior, it's concessions like that has given us the grooming gangs that we just talked about. Let's keep listening.
I'm starting to read the Quran, and I'm almost done with it. One of the interesting things I was reading is that, if your wife messes something up, you don't like it, you tell her you did something wrong, and then you separate from her bed. But thirdly, you may strike her. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You have to give her a chance.
Give her a chance.
That's what the Islam says. You have to give her a chance to reform herself if she's making something wrong.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if she's not listening to you, or if she's not doing, or she's doing against the Islam, or against the rules of the Islam, then you can.
Yeah. Here's the Quran verse. It's chapter 4, verse 34. First, advise them. Then, if they persist, forsake them in bed. And finally, strike them lightly. This video only gets crazier from here.
All right, guys, keep your chats coming. Laurel, I see your chat. Chrissy, I see your chat. I just want to let more people post in the chat. And by the time we're done with this video, I'll read through the chat and then respond. Thank you so much for your chats.
So this is Green Lane Mosque, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this mosque, I watched a clip of an imam instructing men how to stone their wife. There's a clip of it. Yes, there's a clip of it. He goes under. Do you want to see the clip of it?
Yeah, sure. See, I don't believe that somebody is telling that you should stone to your wife.
Yes. Here
Unless there is another thing. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
There is a punishment for the woman.
Yeah.
If she do the adultery.
Yes, correct. That's exactly what it's for.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
This is.
And then it's okay.
This is for the adultery if she is doing something wrong. Yeah. unfair relationship with another Muslim man, then she is allowed to do the sangsar. We call him sangsar.
So he's allowed to bury her waist deep, right?
Yeah, no. They have to throw the stone and kill him with the stone.
Kill him.
Yeah.
That's what he says here.
And that's
So that's okay.
guys.
Yeah, and that is because if she do something wrong, that's what means. If she is doing unlawful sex with any other wrong person. This
so
is the,
if Sharia law is implemented in the UK, all people who cheat, all women who cheat should be killed.
They shouldn't cheat. That's what it says. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what the Islam says.
So my impression, it feels as though Islam is taking over the West. Would you agree?
Yeah, they are. Inshallah, soon. Soon, all world will become Muslim. Yeah.
Yes. And why should the whole world become Muslim?
Yeah, so this is a segment from his YouTube video. If you Nate Friedman, you can find that video, the full video. This is what the mainstream media tries to hide from us. I'm going to read the chats right now. Laurel says, I thought so. It is so horrible what's been going on in the UK. The attacks by Muslim men, raping of young girls, oops, I said it, even as young as 4, and has been so for 50 years. Yes, pull the curtains back on this evil. We're going to keep trying. And you know what? Look, guys, thank you for your support. Okay, you guys hanging out and watching the videos along with me and engaging in the chat. Thank you so much. Look, I have tons of videos, okay, about this stuff. And we're going to be looking at these videos in the days to come. Because right now, the report that was just released a couple of days back, and the insane reactions that we're seeing are going to be sparking more and more conversation. And guess who doesn't want to have the conversation? The mainstream media. They're conspicuously silent about this whole thing. It's an inconvenient truth they don't want to pay attention to because they've spent years accusing anyone who talked about this issue of being racist or Islamophobic. The literal Quran tells you that if your wife is unfaithful, is it right for a spouse to be unfaithful? No. It talks about the wife being unfaithful, stone her, kill her, but nothing about the husband being unfaithful. The husband is allowed to go about sleeping around, creating these grooming gangs, because most of the men who were involved in this were married Muslim men. They are allowed to do that. When they go to war to fight a country that isn't Muslim, they are allowed to assault the women, because once you assault them, it prevents them from going to heaven. It is their divine right. I'm just speechless, guys. Chrissy says, who would want your hands cut off? Isn't that what Sharia law is? Okay, Sharia law is maiming people. Yes, Sharia law. Look, once you institute Sharia in any country, you have created a foothold for the Islamic Caliphate. All of the radical Islamists begin to congregate around cities where Sharia law is instituted. That's how it's always been. In northern Nigeria, back in, I think it was in 1999 or 2000, there was a state in Nigeria called Sokoto that instituted Sharia law. When I heard it, I was still in college, and I was like, what on earth is going on with Nigeria? Since when did we start allowing Sharia law in any state that wants to run Sharia law? Now, guess where Boko Haram or ISIS has its headquarters in Nigeria? Just take a wild guess. Where was it that the U.S. military bombed when they were bombing or attacking the terrorists who were slaughtering Nigerian Christians in northern Nigeria. Which state is that camp located in? Take a wild guess. Sokoto. So, any country in Europe or the West that is embracing this insanity, that's what's waiting for you in the future. Okay, Intergalactic Wrangler says maybe you can spank the wife a little, but no rocks. All right, guys. Okay, it's already 40 minutes past the hour. I have had fun hanging out with you guys. We had we had 11 other stories to touch, but I think we might be able to move them over to Sunday evening, to Sunday night's event, and we can see if we can cover those, okay? So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I do hope, Chrissy, you said that you've already connected in the Discord. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have fun in the Discord. We're going to be planning things, and do you know what, guys? I need you guys to bring your suggestions. What else can we do to the Discord that will make it useful to you? Please let me know in the chat. Laurel, I hope we have you coming back again and again. Loved your comments, loved your chats. Thank you so much. Usually we have people who are watching who have never they just decide to just lurk. Okay, they sit in the shadows and they watch and they enjoy it. I get it. So for the lurkers, thank you so much for giving us your eyeballs and watching and hanging out. Laurel, thank you so much for being a part of the community. Hope you subscribed and hope you hit the bell icon so that when we go live on Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get the notification. Now, one more thing, okay? I have scheduled out all the live streams for another 4 days. So what that means is if you go to the channel where you're watching, because we're dual streaming on 2 YouTube channels right now. If you go to both of the YouTube channels and you go to the live tab, you would see the future live streams already scheduled out. All right, guys, if you would do me a favor, if you have the time or when you have the time, go in and open each one and hit the notify me button. Okay, just click the notify me button so that YouTube notifies you when those live streams kick off. We have to jump through so many hoops as conservative channels. I feel like there's a restriction on our message and it's hard to build a consistent audience. So I have to ask for these things because I see that there are many ways that we're being hindered, and I just hope that you would consider going the extra mile and being supportive. Okay, thank you so much. And let's see, what else am I supposed to ask you to do? Okay, so go in there, hit the notify button, and when we go live on Sunday, hope you're able to join us and we can carry on with the conversation. Chrissy reminded me just now that the Discord link is in the description. The Discord link is in the description of the video. So if you can't find, if you're watching after the fact and you can't catch the link in the chat, go into the description of this video. The link to the Discord is right there. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. Love you guys. Thank you for, this is the best gig in the world to sit and just talk to you guys and just share our thoughts on what's going on in the world and just make new friends. Okay. I love hanging out with you guys. Always the best. All right. Thank you all. Love you. And good night. See you on the next one, Sunday evening at 9. And we stream every day from Sundays to Fridays. So I needed to know that every day, 9 p.m. Eastern, Sundays to Fridays, just to let you guys know how soon, also how often we stream. All right, guys, I forgot to do the roll call. I knew I was forgetting something. Gardening, thank you so much for holding down the chat. Intergalactic Wrangler, thank you so much. Fun as always in the chat. Chrissy As always, excited to see you in the chat. And Laurel, thank you for joining the family. Hope to catch you on the next live stream. And everyone else who's watching, I can't call out your handle because you didn't chat. So I would love to get to meet you next time. Hope you, hope you decide to let us know your thoughts on whatever stories we're covering on the day. Thank you guys so much. I miss you already, but I'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye. Catch you on the next one.